Today you hear a lot of criticism of the Bible, especially at YouTube. Skeptics say the Bible is full of errors and contradictions, and nowhere is this criticism more targeted than at the creation account in Genesis. Some Christians insist on a strictly literal understanding of the story, while others believe it gives a loosely symbolic description of the creation of the physical universe. It's true that throughout the 2,000-year history of Christianity, the biblical account has been considered the story of physical creation, but there is also an allegorical interpretation to be found in Christian history. Papias, a disciple of the Apostle John according to tradition, claimed that the earliest Christian expositors of the Bible said that the 6 days creation account, as well as the Garden of Eden story, were referring to Christ. That would seem to be a claim consistent with something Jesus said himself. Of course, to understand the creation accounts as a representation of Christ's life, his birth, ministry, betrayal, arrest, trial, crucifixion, and resurrection, the creation stories would have to be understood in a symbolic way. That is, it would have to be understood in an allegorical way. That is the subject of my video. First, let's take an overview of the Garden of Eden story. The Lord placed Adam in the Garden of Eden. Adam names the beast. The serpent lies and tempts Eve. Adam and Eve taste forbidden fruit. God questions Adam and Eve, who deny their responsibility. God curses Adam, Eve, the serpent, and the ground. The ground is to bring forth thistles. Adam and Eve are banished from Eden. Cherubim with flaming swords are set as guards against re-entry. Compare the Garden of Eden to the creation week. On the 6th day, man and beast were created, while early in the Eden story, God placed man in the garden. He was given the task of naming the beasts. Eve is created as a companion for Adam, but soon she is deceived by the serpent. In some places in the Bible, Satan is represented by Leviathan, a sea beast. I have outlined the creation stories in a chiasm. The chiasm is a literary structure sometimes used by the Bible writers that is sort of like an arc. You might think of it as a rainbow. In fact, one of the better-known biblical chiasms in the flood account, which you can find at the web page in the link. The symbolic relation between the two accounts may not be apparent at first glance, but let's compare the Garden of Eden account to a third pattern, that of the Gospel. Jesus was born in a manger, and Adam was placed in the garden. He starts his ministry and collects his apostles to make them fishers of men. Adam names the beast and is given Eve for his companion, but she is deceived by the serpent. He tells her that if she eats of the forbidden tree of knowledge, she will be like God, knowing good and evil. When God returns to the garden, he finds they are hiding and knows they have disobeyed. He curses the earth to bring forth thistles and banishes them from paradise, setting cherubim angels as guards to the entrance. One of Christ's disciples, Judas, betrays Jesus to the religious leaders. Jesus is arrested in the Garden of Gethsemane. His followers abandon him. He is brought to trial and sentenced to crucifixion. Jesus arose from the dead and eventually joined his Father in heaven. Judas believed he could put events into his own hands, only to regret his actions and take his own life later. He had rebelled against Christ. In the Garden of Eden, the serpent tempts Eve to eat the fruit, and she will be like God. She will be able to know good and evil for herself without the need for God. If she has the law, then why does she need God? It will be like she has the power to create her own God rather than the other way around. In both stories, we have a beginning, naming or teaching, betrayal and deception, fear, and judgment. In that sense, the creation stories can be seen as allegorical representations of the gospel. The tabernacle and its court have also been interpreted as a chiastic representation of the gospel, with the sanctuary representing the Garden of Eden and the courtyard representing the creation week. When the Bible is understood as spiritual allegory, it gives validity to the New Testament claim that the Scriptures are about Christ.